So in this survey, there were signs of condensation before actually I looked at the damp issue. So I did wonder whether condensation was the primary cause. But then as the survey evolved, you'll see me starting to form a different picture on the working hypothesis. And really importantly, I was able to see the neighbour side of the property, and the neighbours have a good relationship. I really don't like doing surveys when each neighbour is accusing the other of causing dampness. I think you have to work as a team. It's rare that it's entirely one side as opposed to the other side, but have a listen to the survey now. Working hypothesis and then try and disprove it or prove it. But so you've got a bit of staining there, but you have staining because there's plasterers beading in the corner, and any moisture will cause it to stain.
Yes.
So we can pretty much ignore that.
Okay.
We're not seeing staining here, and normally when you have penetrating damp, that's rainwater that's coming through brick. It will pick up the pigmentation from the brick, and it isn't. But that may be because you painted over a block, and it's merely hiding it.
Yeah.
If we look on the outside, we can see some render cracks, and I'll do that. So looking at your neighbour side, there's a big crack. So what happens is the water runs down the wall, rainwater, and it is sucked in like capillary action, and it will get in through, and it's on both sides of the building, both neighbours. Oh, no, I don't. Actually, we'll just fall onto this. That's down. So this is on the neighbour's side now. It's the same level as next door. So that's the normal amount, and it's going to 100% there. So it's very damp on the neighbour side as well. This is on the first floor. Yeah. So that's where the damp is. I'm just going to have a look in the gutter. So you've got these two styles of gutter. I would say that they're fine. There's often a risk with this sort of gutter arrangement, but it seems to be working here. Keep an eye on it during a rainstorm. So, rule of thumb, if there's an obvious source of dampness, that's probably it, and you've got a crack. So, yeah. And the cracks work like capillaries, they'll draw in a lot of water. I mean, it's relatively sheltered, so it's not as bad as it might be if it were low down on a run of wall. You've got a crack down here, and you've got a crack on your neighbour, and you've got a smaller one on your side. I would say that probably the most likely one is the crack on your neighbour's side, but each should be dealt with. Yeah. The gutters have got an adapter that's joining it, and it looks in good order, so I doubt that's the problem, but yeah, it's good to flag it. And you should really have consistent guttering as much as possible. It's a bit less obvious than it was first thing this morning, but there's a puddle of water there, and that's condensation. So when you're on the double glazed, you know, the fact that it's showing on double glazed windows, which are pretty good insulators, is a very sure sign that there's insufficient ventilation. So this is looking at a thermal imaging camera. So we're obviously getting a lot of heat loss there. Now, I think the primary reason is that you're getting sun in there, and you're always going to get heat loss in the corner, but I think it doesn't necessarily mean that it's water evaporating, although it can be. That's getting the warmth of the loft and the downstairs room. And it's not specifically highlighting heat loss from the evaporation. So it's running about 8.6. The news is that we've got an extractor fan here, and it's ducted out through the roof, and then it's coming out, and then we've got a bit of a damp spot immediately below, and that may well be an example of interstitial condensation, because you get heat loss where the ducting is, and you're liable to get condensation forming within it.
Yeah.
And there are things to do to reduce the risk, such as reducing the internal vapour, and I'll show you how to do that. And you clearly have high internal vapour because there's lots of condensation, but it has been particularly cold. But I'll go through with you on that. Unless you're covering with special paints or other covering, you would expect to see a brown stain if there was a leak coming through. There isn't, but it's not even really marginally damp. This is drywall because this is probably better on brick, but it's not damp. But you have a vulnerability to condensation there. So just, I would say, you've got an RSJ, a metal joist there. It's not particularly subject to external temperatures because the roof goes up above it. So, but you know, you have got that outside will have some external temperature there, but it's just a vulnerability to condensation. And I'd say you probably had some past condensation, maybe very steamy pasta day. Who knows? Oh, it's right in the center, right where that crack is. It's damp. I wonder whether any moisture vapours getting through in that. But yeah, if you follow all my tips in terms of internal vapour, and then keep measuring it, and just measure it after a heavy rainstorm, just see if it's coming through immediately after the rainstorm. But you have to keep an eye on internal vapour because internal vapour will go up when it's raining heavily outside. So there are 4 possibilities for this damp zone here. So it's just standard condensation, which is dampness forming underneath. It isn't really coloured, and that seems the most likely. There's what's called interstitial condensation, where there's condensation forming within the roof void, and that typically does discolour or create a stain on the outside. There's condensation forming within the pipe itself because you've got the duct going out, and any humidity from cooking the very last bit, you know, that's sort of before you turn it off, can form condensation within the pipe, and then you get, you know, what appears to be a leak, or it could just be a standard leak. But I doubt it's a standard leak and I doubt it's the pipe. I think it's more likely to be condensation from within the property. And the best way of telling that is using a damp meter and just logging when it's at its dampest. And the simple solution is to bring down the internal dew point so that it's never above the outside temperature.
How do you do that?
By ventilation and dehumidification, and not drying your clothes internally without dew.
Presumably also means lots of heat as well, though, presumably.
Sorry?
Presumably ventilation would also reduce the heat.
Well, that's right, and that's why you use a dehumidifier. You need a certain amount of ventilation. You want what's called targeted ventilation, so above the kitchen extractor fan and in the bathroom, and you want to keep the door closed in the bathroom and have the extractor fan running for at least half an hour. So there are 4 sources. There's cooking, which is about half a litre per person per day. Sorry, quarter of a litre per person per day. Drying clothes, which is about half a litre per person per day. There's the bathroom, which is about half a litre per shower. So if you have a couple of showers during the day, that all adds up. But keep the door closed and the vent on, which is good. And then you've got respiration. Not much we can do about that, but just acknowledgement that we
Stop breathing.
Exactly. We are the main sources. And during COVID, the amount of condensation and mould went up dramatically. And then we had the energy crisis. And even though heat is not the primary cause of excess vapour in a property, it's always lack of ventilation or insufficient ventilation or dehumidification. But during the energy crisis, you can use heat and you can use insulation to reduce the risk of mould and condensation, but it's not the solution. The solution is to bring the dew point down to below the outside temperature, and then you'll never have a risk of condensation and mould. When it's cold outside, you'll get much better performance on your extractor fans because the air that is coming from the outside may be cold, but it also contains virtually no vapor at all. Whereas when it's warm and when it's wet, when it's raining outside, you've got a lot of vapor, so you actually don't get a very good performance on your extractor fans. And general ventilation like PIV and various other types of ventilation, you get virtually no improvement in your vapor levels, because you're just replacing humid air from the outside with humid air from the inside, or vice versa. So when it's cold, you only need to run the extractor fan you need to run it for less time. You'll find that the dew point automatically drops down internally because it's so low, the vapor levels are so low outside. So really important, just keep the dew point there. Dew point outside. These are data loggers. This is the app that goes with the standard data logger that I recommend. And this is in a calibration unit, so this should be 75%, and then these should be... I use salt and water to calibrate. It has a specific relative humidity of 75%. And you know, it's good to know before and after how things have improved.
Yeah.
And you can just log it. It will take about 6 to 9 months to completely dry out. But I think in the meantime, what you can do, I mean, because you've got some sort of surface coating, in theory, you should get rid of that coating. But what you can do is just sandpaper it down and repaint it until you're happy with it.
Yeah.
You know, it shouldn't be a big issue that you got some surface coating, but until you remove the source of the water, it will continue, which is primarily on your neighbour's side, but there's also some risk on your side.
Yeah.
I think you just have to do it as a team. Really.
Yeah, I'd be fine about that.
Yeah. So the main thing is that you're getting penetrating damp, rainwater penetrating through cracks in the render, being absorbed in, and you've got condensation issues. Just want to drop the dew point to below the outside temperature by using ventilation and dehumidification. Targeted ventilation, bathroom, kitchen, drying clothes, and then dehumidification and any additional ventilation for respiration, plants and pets, etc. Thank you very much. Please do leave a comment, subscribe, and see you in the next survey.